My name is Simon Shanyinde. I'm the IT manager.
Thank you very much, honorable members of parliament. Honorable Nyambose.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, Dola. Welcome. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, representing the people of Chasef constituency in Eastern Province. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. Good afternoon to our permanent witnesses. Ndola City Council, you're welcome. My name is Christopher Shakafuswa, Member of Parliament for Mandevu. I'm a member of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And Mutelo Mishek, MP for Mitete. Ndola, you are highly welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, permanent witnesses, and welcome, Ndola City Council. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency of the Eastern Province. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair. Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon. Good afternoon, honorable members of Parliament. Ndola City Council, you're most welcome. My name is Honorable Kampamba Mlenga, a member of Parliament for the good people of Kalulushi on the Copper Belt. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Witness Mulunda, Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and I'm the chairperson for the committee on local government accounts, the committee appearing before this afternoon. Witness, under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, members of Parliament enjoy the immunity in the House, that whatever they say cannot be used against them, and the same is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee, that whatever you say during our interaction will not be used against you. However, if you choose to mislead this committee deliberately, then the same Cap 12 will be used against you. I have no doubt, however, in my mind that you wouldn't do that, and that you are going to give us factual information this afternoon, information that will help us generate a very good report. With that said, Town Clerk, let me invite you now to make your submission before your committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to present the memorandum of the Council responses to the Auditor General's report before this committee. And the Chair, the first query is on accounting for revenue. Number one is failure to collect revenue, 938,719 kwacha. Chair, the Council response. Cause for the query, the Council acknowledges the observation made by the Auditor General and wishes to state that the reduction in collection of revenue between 2021 and 2022 amounting to 938,719 kwacha was caused by an attempt to use electronic cash collection system using Kazan, which malfunctioned during the period observed by the auditor, coupled with resistance from marketeers and erratic supply of receipt books by government printers. The action taken, the Council wishes to report that it has ceased suspended collection of market fees using Kazan machines pending resolution of malfunctioning of the Kazan system. And as further, with the authority of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, started procuring receipt books from both shorthorn printers and government printers to avoid stockout. Further, in an effort to collect market fees using electronic means, Council has engaged Zanaco and Indo Zambia Bank to introduce point-of-sale system which will allow traders to pay using mobile money and swiping. The Council further started sensitizing traders on the importance of paying fees using electronic means. The measures implemented have resulted into the collection of market and toilet fees amounting to 2,845,538.55 kwacha as at 31st December 2023, compared to 1,654,224 kwacha collected in the year 2022. Appendix A shows the schedule of the collections for 2023, Chair, which gives a brighter picture as of the close of 2023. The remedial measures the Council has engaged Zambia National Commercial Bank and Indo Bank for development of automated revenue collection system in order to phase out manual collection system, whilst ensuring sufficient receipt books as backup in case of systems failure. The B, weaknesses in information and communication technology systems. ICT governance failure to adopt ICT standards and frameworks. The cause of the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wish to state that the failure to adopt the ICT strategic plan, which contains ICT standards and frameworks for managing the ICT operations, was that the development of the ICT strategic plan was at drafting stage, which was being subjected to stakeholder consultative process. The action taken. The Council wishes to report that the ICT strategic plan has been made and adopted by the Council. The ICT strategic plan is available for audit verification at Appendix B. The remedial measures. The Council wishes to report that it has now formulated an ICT committee which has been charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the Council is adhering to standards and frameworks which are applicable internationally and generally used in the implementation, operation, and auditing of information and communication technology environments. Failure to update application system, Microsoft Dynamics Navision. The cause of the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor and wish to state that failure to update the system was mainly due to the increase in the cost of renewal by the service provider, Microsoft, which was pegged at $826 as at the end of the financial year 2023. The action taken. The Council wishes to state that Microsoft Dynamics Navision is a robust and a good system. However, the increased cost of renewal and subscription for an individual council is unaffordable. The Council has written to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for the approval of changing the application system to an affordable system, as the Council waits for the ministerial system to be rolled out by the Ministry to all councils. At Appendix C is a quotation that we are showing, Chair, about the cost of renewing. The remedial measure. The Council is pursuing the change of the Microsoft Dynamics Navision, of course with guidance from the Ministry, as we shall be guided since we've written to the Ministry. Failure to manage property legal agreements, Lowenthio Theatre. Cause of the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor and wishes to state that the delay to take possession of the Lowenthio Theatre premises is owing to the protracted counterclaims made by the Rotary Club with regard to renovations and extensions allegedly made by the Rotary Club to the premises. The theatre was built as private initiative championed by Rotarian Abe Lowenthio about 1956 and was handed over to the Council to manage for the community, whereby the Rotary Club argues that it should be co-managed. The action taken. The Council wishes to report that the parties settled for establishment of a joint subcommittee to ascertain the cost incurred by the Rotary Club with the view of renewing the contract on new terms. The Council wishes to further state that the Joint Committee is still reviewing the proposed new terms of agreement to sustain the purpose for the facility to exist as a social corporate responsibility of the Ndola City Council to the residents as opposed to profit making. Appendix D is the MOU that we have shared with the Rotary Club for application in co-managing this facility. The remedial measure, the council has carried out an audit of all council properties, and in order to ensure that all sitting tenants have valid contracts and updated rental income where applicable within the authorized provisions of the Local Government Act number 2 of 2019. Ndola Squash Club, Tennis Club, and Bowling Club. Chair, this is a query also about non-receiving of rentals. The cause of the query. The Council wishes to acknowledge the observation made by the audit and wishes to state that non-payment of rental income was as a result of allowing the sports clubs to continue managing sports activities without written memorandum of understanding. The premises were handed over to the Council by, Chair, I beg your pardon, instead of white, the word is supposed to read by former sports executive in the 1990s, and mutually agreed in line with corporate social responsibility to continue supporting the sports activities. The action taken. The Council wishes to report that the memorandum of understanding between the Council and each sporting club stated above have been drawn and presented for execution by both parties. Still referring to the same memorandum, Appendix D. The remedial measure, Chair, is the same as for a Wenshaw Theatre. Institution houses. Chair, this is a query about 2 houses where Council is not receiving rental. The cause of the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor. The 1996 conditions of service for local authority staff before harmonization of certain terms and conditions in July 2012 provided for free accommodation to be provided to the town clerk and directors, which condition the 2 officers occupying these 2 houses retired on and remained in occupation of houses pending clearance of their terminal benefits by the employer. The action taken. The Council wishes to report that it has made strides to pay 50% in the sum of 168,716.65 kwacha towards the former Assistant Director of Finance, who stands ready to vacate the house upon full payment of terminal benefits, which now stands at similarly the other 50% stated, Chair. As for the former town clerk, she sued the Attorney General and the case was in her favor for the payment of terminal benefits awarded in the sums that are stated, Chair, in the report. And the former town clerk is ready to vacate the house upon payment of the terminal benefits. Appendix E and Chair just refers to the payment we have made to the Assistant Director Finance as of 27th February 2024, 50% was paid. And the other document is the court judgment which abdicated that the former town clerk be paid the benefits by the Attorney General and the LASIF. And the argument is that once these are paid, then she would vacate the house. Chair, I would like also to update the record that as for the Assistant Director Finance, Chair, we have made the last payment, meaning this house is already secured. The remedial measures. The Council has put in place measures to ensure that officers are paid their terminal benefits timely after retirement. Management of Capital Fund, 20% Local Government Equalization Fund, delayed completion of the project at Pamuzi Habitat Market. The cause of the query, Chair, is on page 12. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor and wish to state that the works on the project stalled as a result of the contractor who requested to vary the rates of the contract during the performance of the contract, as he claimed the project was undercosted in the designs that were made. However, the request for variation was not approved and no response was received from Attorney General to permit price variation. The action we have taken: the council terminated the contract with Maton Investments Limited for the construction of a market shelter at Pamuza Habitat Market on 22nd August 2023, after the contractor abandoned working on the market, as the council could not approve the request for variation on rates, and the contract has since been re-advertised. The contract stage pricing was undertaken to clear the contract for the works within the certificates approved. Appendix F, Chair, refers to the contract that has now been awarded, and we will be able to show the picture of the facility having been now roofed and works progressing. The remedial measures: the council will ensure that it expedites tender procedures to avoid further delays in the implementation of the project. Land management: failure to collect plot premium in Manyoni, Dollar Hill extension area. The cause of the query is on page 13. The council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wishes to state that the 90 plots for Manyoni under the minute quoted were to be allocated to the farmers and the squatters that illegally existed in the area called Manyoni. Majority of the farmers and the squatters failed to pay for the plots, although they continue to exist in the area. The action taken: the council wishes to report that it has formally allocated the plots to the 17 applicants who have paid the development charges, and council resolved to continue engaging the offerees to pay the money so that they can be formalized staying in Manyoni. Efforts to collect the money will be continuing. Appendix G, Chair, is speaking to the demand notices we have issued to those who have not yet paid, and also the efforts we are making with them with regard to suggesting to make payment plans of installments, considering that they may not have the money in time. The remedial measures: the council resolved to only reallocate plots to paid up applicants in order to avoid loss of revenue. Commercial ventures: failure to remit VAT. Cause of the query: the council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wishes to state that the failure to remit 997,550 kwacha VAT is owing to non-reconciliation of the ventures tax obligations monthly, which led to accumulation of the amount owed to Zambia Revenue Authority. The action taken: the council has planned in the 2024 budget to start liquidating the outstanding arrears to Zambia Revenue Authority, and so far a payment under 122,573 13 ingwe has been made. Appendix H refers to the payments that so far we have paid to ZRA. The remedial measure: the council ensures that the venture accounts are reconciled monthly to avoid failure to remitting the taxes to ZRA. Poor workmanship in the repair of Ambassador Hotel roof. The cause of the query: the council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wishes to state that the defects which were observed in the query were not part of the scope of works that was being undertaken at the time. The focus was on the emergency works to repair the blown-off roof at that time due to limitation of resources. The action taken: the council wishes to report that in the 2023 budget, funds were set aside in order to carry out repair works in a phased manner. A specialist contractor has since been engaged to carry out the works. The scope of works included removal of fort concrete screed on roof, demolition of loose band wall on roof, and reconstruction of band wall, as well as installation of waterproof bituminous felt on roof. The council wishes to further report that the roof and ceiling defects on the 3rd floor have been worked out. Appendix I shows the progress Chair made in terms of attending to the observations that the auditors made. the council the remedial measures, the council has come up with a maintenance policy for all the properties. This will allow the local authority to prioritize properties that are in a dilapidated state. Chair, I finished the first items, and I would like to get your guidance whether I should proceed to the cross-cutting issues.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. The cross-cutting issues that have spilled over the years, Chair, it's budget, Appendix 2, budget, income and expenditure. The cause for the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wishes to report that the cause for the 15,274,282 variance were as follows. Chair, the Council budget was to receive 102,800,000 kwacha under the Constituency Development Fund for the 4 constituencies of Ndola. However, 8 million was withheld by the ministry.
So this is CDF, huh?
Yes, Chair, this is CDF.
No, CDF, no, we are not looking at CDF. Let's go to 14, Appendix 14.
Thank you, Chair. Appendix 14 is overemployment of staff. Cause for the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditors and wish to state that employment of officers is a preserve of the Local Government Service Commission, was a preserve at that time for the categories stated, which were notified to the Commission. The action taken, Chair. The Council wishes to report that there are letters dated 13th April 2023 written to the Local Government Service Commission with regard to the observed overemployment. And the Commission commenced actions on the matter. At Appendix K, Chair, we are able to exhibit the Commission taking action by transferring officers who were overstaffed in certain positions. And these account for 17 so far at Appendix K. The remedial measures, Chair, the Council submits quarterly staff returns in order to keep the Local Government Service Commission updated on the status of staff matters. Appendix 15 was failure to fill vacant positions. The cause of the query, Chair, we are still referring that these were matters brought to the attention of the Local Government Service Commission, and the action taken, Chair, is that we notified the Commission, and at Appendix L, we are exhibiting the Commission having advertised the positions, and Ndola appears on 3 slots for the recruitment of staff on the key positions that are vacant, and the action is being taken on that, in that regard by the Commission. Chair, on page 20, it's failure to confirm staff. The cause of the query, Chair, again we are referring to the Local Government Service Commission as having been notified, and the action taken, Chair, at Appendix M, we are showing all the staff have since been confirmed by the Commission, and the letters are at Appendix M. The remedial measure, Chair, is that we keep the Commission updated on the status of the staffing levels quarterly. The other query, Chair, is on failure to provide white books for motor vehicles, 36 of them. The cause of the query, the Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor. The failure to avail white books was as a result of failing to trace the white books for the 36 vehicles, some of which are redundant. The action we have taken, Chair, is the Council wishes to report that it commenced the process of acquiring white books and wrote to road transport and safety agents for assistance. And so far we got an assurance and that the white books will be secured. At Appendix N, we are referring to the correspondences between ourselves and the RATSA, as well as Zambia police having endorsed the vehicles inspections, and we are now awaiting the issuance of duplicate white books. The remedial measure, Chair, is the custody of accountable documents such as white books is now entitled, it is now kept by the principal officer in the safe. failure to secure property with title deeds. The cause of the query, Chair, I would like to make a correction in the second sentence where it says belief. The intended word was practice. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the audit and wishes to report that the failure to obtain title deeds was as a result of the practice that public property were safe even without title deeds. Following the government directive and the audit deliberation, the Council commenced the title acquisitions. And the Chair, at Appendix O, as action taken, we are exhibiting so far the title deeds that we have obtained, 11 in number, and the process is still ongoing. The remedial measure is the Council has made it a policy to ensure that all property of the Council are on title deeds, and we are pursuing this matter. Failure to settle outstanding statutory obligations, 129,444,526. Cause for the query. The Council acknowledges the observation made by the auditor on the failure to settle statutory obligations and would like to state that this was mainly due to liquidity challenges during the year under review. The action we have taken, the Council wishes to report that payment plans have been made with and the local authority has paid a total of 4,021,506.41 ngwe in 2023 financial year. At Appendix PF, we are showing the, at P, we are showing the schedules that show how we have paid some of these statutory obligations. The remedial measures, Chair, is that in the 2024 budget, we have made a provision to continue paying these. The other crossing issue, Chair, it is at Appendix 35.
Sorry, that one was not supposed to be on this report. It was dealt with the last time. This is for the issues ending 31st December 2021. So your submission ends here. Thank you very much, honorable members. That's the submission from Ndora City Council.
That is the submission, Chair. We beg to now be guided by the committee.
Thank you. Honorable members, Honorable Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. I refer the committee to page 14 of...
Page 14 of the report.
No, page 12 first.
Page 12. Maybe before my colleague asks about that, that question, there is under the main report on page 320, there was a query which you didn't respond to as Ndora City Council on the failure to correct revenue on the main report, this one. Page 320. You see the table there. Have you seen dollar? 212 million. You have seen the figure there. There was a query on that one, failure to correct that amount, and you didn't provide the response. So the auditors will come through for that. You didn't provide, that's a query in the Auditor General's report, but you didn't respond to that query.
We apologize for having skipped that page, Chair. We will provide the answers.
The Auditor General will make a follow-up on that. Honorable Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. So this is in relation to Pamozi Market.
So
delayed
page 4?
Page 10.
Page 10.
Delayed completion of Pamozi Habitat Market. Chair, this This contract was awarded to Martin Investments for the construction of a market shelter in Pamosi Habitat at a contract sum of 324,162 VAT inclusive for a completion period of 3 months, which means the project was supposed to be completed in March 2021. And the contractor has since been paid 91% of the contract sum, which the contract has been terminated and awarded to another contractor by the name of Demarco. And the works are progressing well. This Demarco contractor was awarded this contract on 31st of January this year, which means for almost 3 years down the line, this contract is still ongoing, depriving the council of the much needed revenue. As we have seen, all these councils, they are all struggling. But now the questions that I have on this particular contract, this contractor, the new contractor, on Appendix F, the contract was signed on the 31st. Why a contractor would possess a site. You'd hand over the site before a contract is signed. One question. The second question is this Martin contractor, the work stalled and you ended up terminating the contract because the reasons you're giving is that the contractor, if I take you to page 11, a physical verification carried out in February revealed that even though the contractor had been paid amounts representing 90% of the contract price, the works had not been completed with the following still outstanding: plastering of block walls, floor screeding, and paint works. So when you look at the picture, this is to the extent which the contractor had stopped the works. He had done the superstructure, he erected the trusses. But this new contractor, I check his scope of work. If you look at the scope of work on Appendix F, you are saying, Appendix F, the first page, you are saying he is supposed to do substructure. He is supposed to do concrete works. He's supposed to do block work and brickwork, roofing, steel works. My question is, why are you repeating the works that the other contractor already did? Because as you can see from page 11, the works that the other contractor, Martin contractor, did, already the substructure is there. It's actually the superstructure. It was just remaining with the roofing and a few touches. And then you are repeating the works as part of the scope of works to this new contractor at actually a very high price, which is twice the price that Morton did the job. And even the contract period, it's 8 weeks now. Morton was supposed to finish that job in a very short time. Anyway, we need more details concerning this project as to why also the engineers, we are saying one of the reasons why the contract was terminated is that there was poor workmanship. That poor workmanship is not on page 11. He's saying, Additionally, the quality of works were poor, in that the steel members which were used for roofing were too small to support the weight of the roofing, posing a danger that the roof may collapse. I want clarification. The contractor constructed the superstructure to the specifications as in the BOQ. He fitted 100 millimeter by 3 millimeter thick steel round pipes, as well as the rafters as per the description in the sizes here. Then the engineers, they go on site to supervise. They are saying, oh, this is poor workmanship, because we believe that this structure cannot support the roofing. Is that what you can call poor workmanship? Because the contractor did as per the BOQ.
Okay.
Well, for now, maybe I
Council
here.
Secretary, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Member, for the questions. The first question is on the site possession certificate is dated 30th of January 2024, and why the contractor took possession a day before the contract could be signed on 31st January 2024. Chair, I would say that the preparation of this certificate as indicated on the date, it is true that it is bearing the date 30th January 2024. However, when the parties pended the signatures and taking the contractor to site was on the 31st, as on the date we signed, there is a stamp that is below the site possession certificate, which was done on the 31st. This is a document prepared well in advance, indicating 30th, but the contractor did not take possession on 30th, but he was taken to site. Chair, my Director Engineering will be able to speak to that clarification further.
Appendix F can give you more guidance also. Just the first page of Appendix F, you have confirmed that the contractor moved on site on 30th January 2024. You can check it. Appendix F, just the first page. This is a report by Ndola City Council, which is even showing the progress of work. So the first statement, the first sentence is saying the contractor, confirming the contractor was on site on 30th January.
Chair, I am not disputing the fact that the site certificate is dated 30th. I totally agree. And however, in terms of the contractor being taken to the actual works site, it was after the signing on the following day, 31st, Chair. And I've requested that the Director will be able to speak to that as to why there are those two dates.
Director?
With regard to the other question, Chair, it is on why repeating the works.
Yes.
Chair, the auditors, after auditing this project as per page 11, they rightly observed that the steel members which were used, although in accordance with specifications and designs, were small to support the weight of the roofing of the market shelter, and that it posed danger, it could collapse. This is as a result of not having correct specifications for such a big infrastructure. That I must admit, Chair. Now, the remedy we did, Chair, is that after terminating this contract, in the new contract, we gave the contractor additional works to support the roof with steel works. And that is why even the pricing of this contract was much more. So, Chair, with that, we meant to protect now the public interest with this observation that the roof was not strong and it may collapse. So in coming up with a a second contractor who should now address this matter. We did repeat some of the works for reinforcement so that the structure is able to protect the marketeers and other users. We have come with a picture, Chair, of the progress that has been made to this structure, which shows a different picture as the one which the auditors found on the ground. We agree that we have spent more money on this project than initially intended because of the designs and the specifications which were a danger to the lives of the people. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Indeed, actually, you have taken those remedies. However, I just want to find out from you, is this not tantamount to wasteful expenditure? And where were the engineers to come up with these designs which were a risk to the would-be use of that market? And what punitive measures have you taken to make sure that those who did the bills of quantities are brought to book or are charged, and at whose expense? Are these not government resources which are being misused? What is it that you have done so that we deter such type of wasteful expenditure?
Town Clerk.
Chair, I want to agree that the repeat of awarding a second contractor speaks to more money being spent on this project. The first expenditure, Chair, was spent on the very building which has now been reinforced. So the funds have since been utilized for the same public infrastructure by the first contractor. However, because of lack of reinforcement and the danger it posed, we had to now look for more strength in the new contract that will protect this infrastructure. And this is what I referred to as having undercosted the works by the engineers in the first place. The question that have been asked, Chair, is that what punitive action have you taken on those engineers who costed the works? At this stage, Chair, I would not give a wrong answer that I have punished the engineers. I'm yet to learn who designed the first designs. And my Director Engineering maybe can just give a bit of background to it.
Director Engineering.
Good afternoon, Chair. In addition to what Town Clerk has submitted on the changes that were made in the revised design of the structure, the first design was meant to be just a shelter. It was meant to be a phased project. But when we redesigned, we included the tables on which the marketeers would have to sell their goods, and an office and a storeroom. This meant that even the cost itself changed, Chair. We also added some more steelwork in order to stiffen the trusses so that that can be able to withstand the load of the roofing as TC has submitted, Chair.
Honorable Mutelo.
All right.
Chair, I'm very grateful. Chair, I just wanted to find out from the director, or would you confirm to me that because from what I heard, you saying that it was not strong enough and posed danger to the users. Now, Chair, I'm failing to connect, because what posed the danger? Because this was a shelter, and I want to believe that it was supported. Don't tell me that this roof was hanging. It was supported, and it was the pillars were meant to support that kind of a roof that you had put. So I want you to explain properly what made it to be a danger all of a sudden. Is it, did you increase the roofing material on it? I just want to know, where were you from the beginning that you could not see, only saw that it was a danger after it was completed?
Thank you. Honorable Mutelo, on the same.
On the same, thank you, Chair. He's taken my mind. We are taken aback. At what stage? But the question here was not answered. Or maybe, what was the scope of work in the initial stage? And since I have this time, I may not have it again. It's gratifying that the chair has already given to say you deal this matter on 322 with the Auditor General's office. I should think it was deliberate. I should think it was deliberate, Chair, just to leave that one, the 2 million. Deliberate.
It's 212.
212. 231052. It could have been deliberate, but the chair has already given directive back to the shelter. At what stage were we now able to say, oh, now what we have done poses a great danger? Hence the question of wastage, not only wastage, time.
Thank you very much. Town Clerk, those questions?
Yes, Chair. As rightly observed, Chair, the structure at the time of audit was not roofed, but it had the steel members. And these are the ones that were observed, that they were too small to hold the weight of the roof once it is roofed. And that is the danger that we saw. What caused the danger? It's the specifications that would not hold the roof once the roof is done. And we have said that was as a result of wrong designing, which we've admitted, Chair. Now, to protect public interest, we had now to change and reinforce the steel members so that when the roof is done, it will be of standard that will not be able to fall on the people. And the Chair, as I said, with the picture that now shows that we took concern, that shows how people should be able to trade in this shelter without fearing, as it was going to be risky, Chair, to put the roof on the steel members that the Auditor General, through their professional audit, had said would have not held a heavy roof, and it could have posed danger to the marketeers.
Yeah, we appreciate that, but who approved that? Who approved the same drawings? The BOQ.
Chair, this is an issue of perpetual succession, Chair. We noticed this when the process was already in tender. At the time that this project had been tendered, I wasn't with Ndola City Council, but we noticed when already the project has been tendered. And when we revised these designs and asked the contractor then to give us a quote of the newly designed structure, the estimates were beyond the allowed 25% for a variation. And that's what made the contractor to get stuck when he had spent 295,000 kwacha. We had to write then the secretary to the general for approval of the variation. However, that variation, the approval never came through, so that prompted now the termination in mutual agreement and for convenience with the contractor, so that a new contract, a new project can be done, and at that time we now put in place the remedial measures, the right design, and also instead of having it to be phased, we included the tabletops as well as the office and the storeroom. Chair.
Thank you. Honorable. Okay, Honorable Mwanza, then Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you, Chair. As the town clerk and you, the engineer, you have rightly put it that the members were not adequate enough. They still was not adequate enough. And then you are saying this contractor, he did poor work by constructing the steel structure according to the BOQ. My question is, did you treat this contractor fairly? Why did you terminate the contract? Because in your statement, you have actually vindicated the contractor's claim on page 12, which is saying that he actually pushed for a cost variation. Because he says the contracts requested to vary the rates of the contract during the performance of the contract. As he claimed, the project was undercosted in the designs made, which you have testified here. And you ended up terminating his contract. And then you bring in another contractor at a very high exorbitant price, twice the price that twice the price that Martin Investments Limited. Where is the rationale?
Okay. Okay, before you respond, let me ask you, Honorable Nyambose too. It's a different question. All right, kindly respond, Town Clerk. Town Clerk, respond.
Thank you, Chair. The question I've been asked is whether this first contractor was treated fairly.
Yes.
By bringing in another second contractor with a new contract. Chair, the contractor responded and bidded to the specifications given, and he bidded the sum of 324 in accordance with those specifications, which are a problem as of now. And so in as far as this contractor was concerned, he should have finished the job within the money that he bidded. But in the course of executing the works, they were caught up with the prices of steel and failed to roof the structure and asked for a variation. Unfortunately, this was a closed contract. The Attorney General had locked it that there can't be price variation. So the council had to write now the Attorney General for whether that clause could be waived, and the intention was to allow the same contractor look at a revised approach. But in the course of not having received the response, the contractor abandoned the works and moved out of sight, hence the stagnation for the years. And so in the thinking of the council, we had to come up with the new BOQ that would address now the weaknesses observed and altogether do a correct pricing of the works that must complete
in your
the
own
market.
opinion, Town Clerk, in your opinion, if the first contractor, if he was given a revised BOQ, do you think he would have maybe abandoned the works?
Chair, if he was to be considered for the second works, I would think he wouldn't have abandoned the works. But when we retendered, he was also part of those that were free to bid.
So why didn't you give him the first thing? Why didn't you give him the first priority since he was working on that thing? He understands the structure already.
Chair, I will be assisted by the Director of Engineering.
Sure, Chair. The law does not allow preferential treatment. That's why at the time that we were terminating, we called him for a meeting, which was minuted to say he had to also participate competitively.
So make it clear, if in this circumstance, the cost of the materials went up and you terminated the contract because the contractor obviously could not find the money to do what you wanted him to do at that standard. So you terminated the contract. So the law doesn't allow him to be given first priority. That's what you are saying?
Because the job that we had to offer also included the construction of the tabletops.
No, I just wanted to understand the qualification, the eligibility of this contractor to participate.
Yes, Chair, I was eligible to participate, but not really with the preferential treatment because of the change in the design, the new inclusions.
Okay. Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you, Chair. Page 7.
Page 7 of your report, Town Clerk.
Failure to manage property legal agreements. Chair, Ndola City Council has a property 1, Lowenthal Theatre, which has been occupied by this tenant who has not been paying rentals to the council. Number 2, Chair, let me finish about Lowenthal Theatre. As at 31st October 2023, the club was still occupying the premises without rentals and agreements, tenancy agreements. Number 2, Chair, on the same is Ndola Squash Club, Tennis Club and Bowling Club. This also is a property of the council where the council is failing to collect rentals. The other one of much of interest also, Chair, is institutional houses, Town Clerk. 2 institutional houses occupied by former Town Clerk and another director, I'm sure, Director of Finance. They have occupied these properties since 2013. 11 years. Nothing is being collected from them. Some of the issues have been resolved in the courts, but the council cannot move in. Some of them, Chair, is failure on the part of management to concretize the tenancy agreements and come up with a resolution of the council as to what is the status about those properties. One of the directors is owed a little money. That money cannot be paid for 11 years by the council so that they can take occupancy of the same property. Town Clerk, the council is struggling to provide services. The council is struggling to pay retirees, and yet you are failing to collect from predictable sources of revenue which could have helped the council resolve some of the problems that you are facing or function normally. What has been the problem on these properties? There could be more, but this is what was highlighted, Chair, by the auditors. I submit.
Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. The Lowenthal Theatre and the clubs. Chair, the first thing that management has done is to provide leadership in understanding the background of these premises. And I have said in my submission, Chair, that these were premises built by the sporting executives in the 70s and handed over to Ndola City Council as custodian with a view of promoting these games in the city. For Lowenthal Theatre, it was also spearheaded by Mr. Abe Lowenthal in 1956 and mobilizing funds to be constructed and handed over at the time of exit to the council. Now, when these sporting executives were leaving, they left club executives of our brothers and sisters existing in Ndola, who felt that the council is a mere custodian and that they are not tenants as such. and it's from that premise that there were no tenants agreements. So the preparation of a tenants agreement in 1998 was disputed that these should not be treated as tenants. What should have been the treatment is an MOU for the council to agree that it's the custodian of this public infrastructure and allowing these sporting executives to run the games in this. So the tenants agreement that we have structured, the MOU, is running away now from having a tenants agreement where money transactions must take place, because there's been an argument for years that they are not tenants. These were given to the council for and on our behalf. You are merely custodians of this public infrastructure. We are not tenants. So, Chair, the insistence of the council to try and levy these club executives is what has led to a number of years without having any formal agreements signed. And as a council, we are now determined to say, let us have MOUs that will guide the future. We somehow subscribe as the management that it is true that they should not be treated as tenants, because in the first place they were the owners of these premises, fundraised and built by their very executives. The council was merely given for custodian purposes, because that is where the people's depository of public infrastructure must be. So we now want to take a new approach, that we sign MOUs and not necessarily tenants agreements that will attract payment. With regard to maintenance, the MOUs suggest these same executives to be in charge of maintenance. With regard to public functions and usage, the MOU suggests how the council will have access to these buildings without paying. That's the new approach we want to take. And had we taken that approach, Chair, this matter could have not even been raised as an audit query, because the auditors were going to find that there are MOUs existing and not necessarily tenants agreements.
Your Honorable Shagafus. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The houses, Chair, I explained before the committee. Thank you, Honorable Nyambose. There are 2 officers that are in occupation of the houses, and it is true, it is 11 years now. Chair, the first answer with regard to the Director Finance, who is in the house. The issue was the conditions of service under which he retired in 1996. Council provided free accommodation. And at the time of retiring, he had been waiting for retirement benefits. So far, the efforts that we've done as of now is between the period of September 2023, when I went to Ndola, and to date, we have paid him the amount in full and given him a notice that we have exhibited that 30 days from now, the house now must revert to the council, and the officer signed. I must agree that you also wondered why it had taken the council all this period just to fail to pay him 300,000 kwacha. It was a question of prioritizing. As regards the town clerk, it is about 4.8 million required, and the institutions to pay, it is LASIF 2.2 million, and the Attorney General 2.4 million. So she's still in the house saying government has not paid me. The moment I am paid, I'll be able to move out. I did a notice of eviction, and the chair, although I'm not supposed to be reviewing documents on phone, the town clerk shared with me goods that are already packed in this very house, and saying I'm ready as soon as I am paid, I'll move out. In fact, I just keep goods there, I don't stay there. I submit, Chair.
Yeah, follow-up questions, Honorable Simumba, Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm Honorable Simumba, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. I wanted to find out what are some of the measures that the Council has put in place to ensure that the officers are paid their terminal benefits timely after retirement, so that surely we can overcome what has happened. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nyambose.
Yes, Chair. I want to indicate, Town Clerk, that I would have loved to see a council resolution that has made you to make a good decision from tenants agreements to having an MOU. If the question is, have you sought the council mandate for you to enter into this MOU which you have attached, which has not yet been signed? Have you sought the council resolution? If yes, we'd like to see it so that this matter is closed once and for all on those clubs and properties. Why we asked about the tenants agreement, because it was raised as a query. And we are wondering why you are not collecting. Second, on the issue of the houses, legally, what is the legal position? The town clerk, former town clerk, took the LASIF to court and the Attorney General, and she won the case. She's entitled, she has suffered, she worked for that money. Now, after that position, which is affecting the council to get some revenue, what has been the next step if this matter was concluded by the courts and she has a judgment which is of interest to you, so that you can have possession of this house and have monies generated from the same? What is the legal position on this matter which was resolved by the courts and yet not yet paid? Thank you.
Town Clerk.
Chair, thank you so much, Honorable. I will begin by the measures that we have put in place to pay the retirees as they retire. I must admit, Chair, that one of the biggest problems at Ndola City Council is the huge sum of money owed to the retirees. So what the council so far has done is to categorize the retirees and make payment plans. The first one we did was that any retiree who is owed less than 100,000 kwacha, which money we believe is able to be sourced by the city, be cleared. That we did, Chair, between September and December. As we speak, we have only retirees that have amounts above 100,000 kwacha. That lessened the number of retirees to deal with. Secondly, we also said any deceased employee be prioritized. And we've so far paid, the Director of Finance will speak to the figures, but close to about 3 million on deceased workers as a matter of prioritizing that the widows and widowers are moved out of the pay. Then secondly, we said those that are working, retired, they have small figures, but they are still on our payroll. We need to find money, clear them so that they are also off the payroll, so that we have a breather. That we did. So far we only cleared, I think, 6 or 7? 7 who were on the council payroll, and we had now to write LASIF that can you clear them, and lucky enough they also came back to us and wrote us the following have now been cleared. Remove them from the payroll, which included also a former town clerk. We cleared, and then they were been removed from, that's another former, who has been moved out of the payroll after having cleared them at LASIF and ourselves. Then what we've done in the payment plans is that we have categorized the retirees by periods in which they had retired and made coordinators. Because when I went to Ndola, for example, retirees would come even in as many as 60 wanting to be paid. But we've now found leadership within them, those who retired between this period and this period. This is your coordinator and chairperson and secretary, and we collaborate with them. After paying salaries, we also attend to them, except their figures are high. But so far, there are no quarrels. They are seeing that we are attending to the current workforce. We are also attending to the separated workers. That is how we are handling them. with regard to the house, what is the way forward? The matters have now been settled in court. Yes, Chair, as the Honorable has said, the matters have been settled in court. The way forward is to pay the officer the money. And the only attempt so far we have made is to try and update our payments with LASIF, because LASIF, when the retiree goes to LASIF, they tell them your council is in debt. We cannot process your retirement payments. Okay. So we've prioritized, we've demonstrated in one of the queries that we are answering a bit of payments that we are paying to LASIF so that she could be paid. This is the matter that we want to lobby with the ministry, helping us with Attorney General also to pay her, so that the officer moves out of the house. Okay, we are desired, Chair, that I think within the course of this year, this house will be freed and it will come back to the council.
Thank you. As we wind up, Honorable Shagafusa.
Yes, Chair. I would refer you to page 5 and 6 on weaknesses in information and communication technology systems. Failure to adopt ICT standards and frameworks. In your response, you are submitting that you have since adopted the ICT plan, strategic plan, and further, you have formulated an ICT committee which will ensure and remind the local authority that you are up to standard. Are you in a position to give documentary evidence of this ICT committee so that we can see its composition? And number 2, failure to update application systems, your Microsoft Dynamics navigation, where you have submitted that it's expensive, and you have since written the Ministry of Local Government for an alternative. Would you draw the committee to the documentation of this correspondence, and what is the feedback from the ministry?
John Clerk.
Chair, I would like to seek my colleagues to help me on the strategic plan ICT committee, a documentary evidence that it is in place, and also on the correspondence. The Director of Finance will be able to elaborate so far what we've done on these two, Chair.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we must apologize that we didn't attach the communication to the Ministry with regards to requesting us to suspend the vision. We'll be able to provide to the committee with your indulgence. With regards to updating the system, Chair, we sought to upgrade our system, and the quotation as indicated in the report, it was paid at $110,000. Chair, it suffices to say that it's a good system, and Ministry of Health is using the same system. As of just about 2 weeks ago, Chair, I was part of the team that was invited to Chilanga, where we seem to have some support from Ministry of Finance that want to roll the same system to all the councils. And so we're guided from that informally that we should hold on, help may come through to update the system. Chair, I think you submitted that way. In terms of the ICT strategic plan, Chair, it's part of the appendices that have been attached in the report.
Thank you very
Chair,
much.
for the committee, we apologize. There is no list that the Honorable asked for the members of the committee, because the member wanted to see what is its composition.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ndola City Council, we want to appreciate your appearance and your submission before this committee. We have also realized that there are issues that are pending, that are supposed to be attended to. The market shelter, my good colleague, my honorable, is still murmuring. That market shelter, I think we need a thorough response on it. And that you have given us what you are doing. You have seen the pictures of what you are doing, but our desire is that our people will now be able to trade from a very safe place and all the amenities. I don't know whether this market comes with an ablution block Engineer.
Chair, under the CDF, an ablution block is being done.
Okay, thank you
It's
very
on
much.
contract award stage.
Okay, that's fine. So we want to make sure that, I know Ndola has been having a lot of issues, but we must go there and start cleaning Ndola. There is one word that doesn't miss in your report. In Ndola report always, the Dollar Hills plots. That one's historical. You know, every time we are appearing, there should be a word that related to that place. So we want to do the right thing and at the right time. We wish you well as you go back to Ndola, and allow me to withdraw now the immunity that was conferred on you. So as you travel back to Ndola, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Since her